Hello everyone, and welcome back to Nothing But Net, where we talk all things and everything basketball. I'm Rhythm.
I'm Cole.
I'm Kai.
And today, this is our first ever video episode. So we're just gonna be doing the same thing that we normally do, except we're doing it for you guys on camera. Okay, so today, the trade deadline was last week. Today is going to be the All-Star Saturday night. We should be in Indiana right now, but due to unfortunate circumstances, we could not make it to Indiana.
That's all right.
It's okay. Maybe next year. But I feel like we could just do a quick recap of the trade deadline, because last year we had an episode called This Year's Trade Deadline was the greatest of all time, because Kevin Durant got traded. Kyrie Irving got traded, right? But this year, Bojan Bogdanovic and PJ Washington were the biggest trade. So we're just going to kind of implement the trade deadline into our talk about the teams that improved. So how about we start with the team that I feel won the trade deadline, the Dallas Mavericks. Now, just a quick summary of how they've been doing. Since the trade deadline, they're 3-0. And the one thing that they needed was Dwight Powell to not be starting at center, because that man is a bona fide scrub. Sorry. But I'm just saying this. But they needed a center. They got Daniel Gafford, who right now should be a Sacramento King, but it's okay. We'll move past that. And they got PJ Washington from the Charlotte Hornets. Sorry. And the lobs and the screens that Luka is getting, the pick and rolls, the pick and pops,
It's really good.
Everything is working. And they're 3-0. And so let's just talk about, can Dallas be real contenders this year?
I think they might be, maybe not this year, but in the future, definitely.
No, not this year. Mainly because I still don't trust Luka and Kyrie. Their meshing is better than was last year, but I still feel like in the 7-game series, there are still a lot of better teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, because right now they're 8th in the West. It's the trade deadline. This is around the time where, it's very rare for teams to jump up. We saw it 2 years ago with Boston. They went from out of the playoffs to the 2nd seed from the trade deadline, but it's the most they can jump up with how stacked this Western Conference is. Might be the 6th seed, 5th seed, maybe.
It depends on how big of a winning streak they go on.
Yeah, but even then, they would have to face Denver, LA, Minnesota. OKC might be beatable because they don't have the experience.
LA's not that big of a threat, though, anymore.
They're not, yeah.
The Clippers?
The Clippers are, but definitely not the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Lakers, that's a whole different story.
That's a whole other...
But Clippers, Minnesota, Denver...
Sacramento. Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix. OKC even. They really needed a center that deadline.
I still think they can do better than PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford.
Who, the Mavericks?
Yeah.
Well, the trade deadline's over.
Yeah, but in the offseason, they need to get...
Okay, yeah.
But we also got to think about the fact that Kyrie Irving is 32 years old. 32, 33 years old. So, if they want to win, this is the time to win. They went to the conference finals, that was 2022?
Yeah, but that was more because the Phoenix Suns did their thing, pretty much.
The Phoenix Sunned. But, I also feel like Luka Doncic is the MVP of the league. It's between Luka and Shea.
Yeah.
But Luka Doncic, he's averaging 35, 9, and 9. He's having a career year.
He's having a great season.
But I just feel like they can't waste that. They can't do what the Cavaliers did to LeBron James.
They're kind of already wasting it, though. And the reason why LeBron and Cleveland didn't really do much is because LeBron, he didn't have help, but when he did, they won the championship.
Oh, I'm talking about his earlier stint.
Before that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have help then either, but he still was able to carry them. I feel like we need to see that from Luka. We kind of have before, in 2021, but that's been it.
Yeah, but Brunson was OD that playoff, bro.
It was.
The conference finals on Brunson was him.
Yeah, so technically Luka hasn't carried the Mavericks to like any playoff relevancy
Oh, wait,
at all
He
by
hasn't.
himself
wait.
because Ransom was there in 21.
Luka's stat pattern? Hold up. Am I bringing up a solid argument? They got him Kyrie Irving and he couldn't win.
He couldn't win.
They didn't even make the play-in when they had Kyrie Irving.
They got
They got
him
worse.
Kyrie Irving,
They got worse.
and they couldn't win. Is this? We can't say it's Luka's fault, right? He's averaging 35, 9, and 9, right? Is it Luka's fault?
It could be because maybe he's taking too many looks.
Who's to blame? Jason Kidd?
It has to be Jason Kidd. Like, you can't, as a coach, your job is to get rid of that, stop that from happening. And if he's not doing that, then he's failing as a coach.
Yeah.
I feel like Luka needs a Phil Jackson, maybe. What
I
Phil
could
Jackson?
see that. I could see that.
What Phil Jackson did to Jordan, Luka needs somebody to do that to him. Maybe.
But who is that?
Who's on the market? I don't know.
There are no
No real-
decent coaches on the market.
Yeah. And if they do, why would why would they go to Dallas? I mean, of course everybody would go to Dallas. Maybe, dude, Popovich would be,
Popovich is not leaving San Antonio.
but Luka on the Spurs.
Luke on the Spurs would be
That's
great.
no, that's OD. That's OD. That's OD. That's OD. But I just feel like if the Mavericks can continue the path that they're going, they're just not better than a lot of teams. Because Derek Lively has looked like a standout. Kyrie is great, but
Kyrie is either injured or
Kyrie's missed 50% of the game so far. He's been extremely injured this season.
I think we're clearly seeing an end to Kyrie's career.
Yeah, but also, not everyone is LeBron James. So, Kyrie doesn't have time left. And, I mean, dude, like, imagine Brunson on his team, man. Like, Mark Cuban. And then he sold the team, like, a couple days ago. But, like, a couple months ago. But, like, I just still feel like if the Mavs want to win, this is their year to win. Because Luka's having great, Kyrie's great, Derek Lively, whatever. But I just don't feel like they're going to win this year.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a.
there are too many good teams.
There are too many good teams. I feel like that's a good estimate of where the Mavericks are at right now. Moving on to another team that people say won the deadline. This is my second best team of the deadline. The New York Knicks, man. I mean,
New York Knicks.
the New York Knicks flipped Quentin Grimes for Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. And man, oh man, I cannot overestimate, I don't know what the word is, but I cannot say how much I've been waiting for the Pistons to trade Bojan Bogdanovic. They were wasting that man's career, and they needed to trade him.
And they finally did it.
New York swept it and got him. And, man, I mean, like, the New York Knicks are so good. Jalen Brunson is so good. But I just feel like the New York Knicks, they can be a genuine threat to the Boston Celtics. Is that a...
I feel like
It's between them and who we'll talk about later in Cleveland. But yeah, I think that with New York, they have the playing card that they need in Jalen Brunson, and then they have the big that they need in OG Anunoby, and then also Julius Randle. They got rid of RJ Barrett, which I kind of don't like because I feel like he was.
Well, they got
having a breakout-
Anunoby.
but he was having a breakout season this year, and he was doing well enough on that team where I think he could have stayed. I would have liked him to stay, but
They got Anunoby. We can't just say that. They got Anunoby.
yeah, they did get Anunoby. I think that so long as they can stay healthy, they should be able to they might beat Boston, but for Boston it depends on if Porzingis will stay healthy in the playoffs.
And I mean, I'm not trying to jinx it, but relatively Porzingis has been healthy this year.
he has.
So,
There have been a little scares. Like, I remember watching a Miami game, and I think he twisted his ankle that game.
but
Yeah.
he came back.
Stuff like
It was
that.
just day to day.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
but I feel like, especially, like, throughout his career, he would especially when he was at New York, he had like these really good like MVP caliber years, and he just got injured.
All-star caliber. Let's not stretch that a little bit. All-star.
He was really good, and then he just gets injured.
And then he gets injured. Yeah. And in Dallas also, Luka and Porzingis.
That should have worked.
That should
with Luka, Porzingis, and Brunson. That team, like in 2023, that's a championship team.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we don't have to go into it, but there were a million ways that Dallas misused Kristaps Porzingis. They turned Kristaps Porzingis into Tyler Hero. They just made him a catch and shoot. He's just like,
Yeah.
And he's not built for that.
he's not built.
Yeah, that's not his game.
Boston, man. If there's one team to beat in the NBA,
It has to be Boston.
it's not Denver.
I don't even think Denver might make it back this year.
To the finals?
Yeah.
I
Who's their
don't
biggest
either.
threat?
It's probably when I see it, like I think they're the Clippers, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder. Like out of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference, they're 4th.
Okay, but I'm not really as high on the Thunder as everyone else is. Am I?
I mean, I understand why you wouldn't be, because
I mean,
it's really just been Shea. Chet has been good.
no, but I feel like they can be a really good regular season team, but the playoffs are an entirely different.
Yeah,
Thing.
I mean, like we saw it last year with the Cavaliers. They even said that the lights were too bright for them.
Yeah, and the Kings.
So, and they are an extremely young team. None of them have been to the playoffs before.
And
The furthest they've gotten was the play-in.
or no, Shea's been to the playoffs, but it was when he was very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it's hard to say how they're gonna play it.
I don't know. I mean, and dude, Andre Drummond would have been so good on that team. I'm so mad at the Bulls for not making any moves, but
I mean, the Bulls. That's a topic for another
that's
time
a
as well.
topic for another time.
Yeah.
Chicago,
You need to do better. There needs to be a new front office. But talking about the Knicks, they are probably one of the bigger threats to Boston now, especially after getting Bogdanovic. We'll see what happens after the All-Star break, because that's usually when we'll start to see who's contenders or who's not contenders. But
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
And I mean, Becky Hammon, coach of the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA, she said the only person in modern history, or the only team in modern history to win a championship with a small guard as their 1A was Stephen Curry and the Warriors. And he said, Jalen Brunson is not a 1A. And honestly, we can now say that that's blatantly wrong. Like,
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson
he is.
is 1A. I can
Definitely.
say that right now.
He is that guy
He is
right now.
that guy. He's the king of New York. And honestly, is this a stretch? He's done more for New York than Carmelo Anthony.
Well, I wouldn't say so because they didn't really have playoff success.
Yeah, I mean, they were the 1 seed, but what
They didn't do anything.
exactly?
I would guess.
I mean, like Melo, obviously he's a way better player than Brunson,
Of course.
obviously. But in his time in New York, yeah, obviously Brunson's only been there for 2 years, but in those 2 years, he's brought them from like bottom feeders to the top.
Yeah, I've never thought about that angle.
Yeah, it's funny because the Knicks in 2021 were the 4 seed. In 2022, they were the 12 seed. And in 2023, they were back in the playoffs. It's like, it's so confusing to me. But also, like, Jalen Brunson, is this weird to say? Is he an MVP candidate?
Oh, there are
I
better
don't think so.
There are better players that are
You can definitely see John Brunson putting in.
the NBA. If the 65 game rule wasn't a thing, Joel Embiid would be.
Of course.
But
But it is a thing.
yeah,
It is.
it is a thing.
So,
I don't think Jalen Brunson is there yet.
man, but
I think it will have to, like, obviously it will have to be how he can mesh with Anunoby
of course.
after the All-Star break.
Yeah, but I mean, I talked about this in the win-win trade episode. OG Anunoby is so perfect for Tom Thibodeau, I can't even express it.
Yeah.
He is the perfect player for Tom Thibodeau. He plays 46 minutes a night. He just goes out there and grits.
And he doesn't get injured.
I mean, he is injured now.
Okay, but like usually he doesn't get injured.
Yes, and it's just
He's one of those rare players.
the Knicks. How did the Knicks stumble upon him? Like, I mean,
He was like, we were like, there were a lot of rumors he could go to Sacramento.
Of course.
He could go to Golden State. He could go to the Lakers because everyone wants to go to the Lakers.
Everyone wants to go.
But he went to New York, and I think that probably was the best fit for him.
Yeah, but dude, Sacramento would have been such a good fit.
Would have been great.
It would have been so good, but I mean, they had to give up their New York had to give up their number 3 overall pick for it. We didn't have that assets to do that. So, I mean, he's doing really good in New York. The Knicks are really good. Bogdanovic, he's gonna be really good. And they're doing all this with Isaiah Hartenstein as their starting center. So just wait till Mitchell Robinson gets back. I mean, is he gonna be back for the playoffs? Do we know that yet?
I think he might be,
Okay.
but we would have to double check, obviously.
Yeah, we would have. I think he got injured in November, and they said it was like 6 to 8 months, maybe. So
he should be back.
maybe he's playoffs in April. So November, December, January, February.
He would be back for like late playoffs.
Maybe the conference finals if they make it there.
Maybe.
But honestly, Isaiah Hartenstein is doing so good. Maybe they don't even want to bring him back. Like Miami. Miami waited to the conference finals. They didn't even want to bring Tyler Hero back when he got hurt. But they ended up doing it and they lost the finals. So, I mean, maybe they didn't even want to bring him back. But, but the Knicks are so good. And they beat a team last year in the first round that we're going to talk about now, who's also really good. Kai's very own Cleveland. This is for you, the Cavaliers. I'll let you speak on them first.
I mean, just like a great season overall. I feel like, and even without Darius Garland, that alone raised a lot of questions because Darius Garland, he's one of the faces of.
He's Cleveland.
He's Cleveland, yeah. Him and I guess you could say Donovan Mitchell, but he hasn't been there long enough to be Cleveland, you know.
Yeah.
And doing this great without him, like that raised a lot of questions because now you don't know if he might leave. They might not value him as much anymore. They might try to get someone better out of him, right?
Now, Kaya, what happens when Darius Garland comes back and the Cavaliers aren't as good as they were without him?
Then the questions are true. The rumors are true. They don't need him. Then that's the big problem.
I saw this report that said, I saw this take by one of an analyst. I forget who it was, but they said the Cavaliers are going to regret in 10 years' time not trading Darius Garland for a win now piece. And I just sat there thinking about that, like, would they trade their number 5 overall pick? Would they?
It depends who they would get. Obviously, they can't do it now because the deadline hasn't
Of course, yeah.
But in the offseason, if he comes back and the Cavaliers aren't as good as they are now because they're on they were on a 9-game win streak or whatever. If they're not as good, they have to move him. This offseason.
If they're not as good or better, then
if that means,
I'm sorry to say it, but Darius is gone.
If that means whoever, we were saying before we filmed that maybe he gets signed and traded to the Lakers for Bronny and LeBron James, that could happen. Or he goes to a point guard needy team because he is a really good point guard on his own.
Point guard.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the question, is he more like a Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, like him and Donovan Mitchell, where they don't really mesh together, but they are great by themselves?
Well, yeah. Wait, I actually like that take. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. I mean, I just feel like...
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I just feel like Darius, they would only trade Darius Garland if they feel that they can genuinely win if they're one piece away.
I think they would have to get a small forward type player.
Yeah.
Obviously that would be LeBron.
But
it depends if they can try to. I mean, if Bronny is drafted by the Cavaliers, there's no way LeBron is saying no to going back to Cleveland.
Of course, yeah.
Bron is 100% going back to Cleveland.
But I feel like the writing is on the wall that LA is going to draft Bronny. I don't know. I just feel like the writing's on the wall.
I mean, it depends. I mean, LA, based on their trajectory, they're going to have a pretty early pick. But it depends if a team ahead of them is going to want a LeBron-type player, like maybe a Golden State or a Detroit.
Detroit. LeBron on the Pistons is type wild.
Maybe. But, like, honestly, what if Golden State has a higher pick than LA and they draft Bronny James to get Curry and LeBron for their final years together?
Did you guys see that report? Golden State sent in an offer for LeBron at the deadline.
They did, and the Lakers denied it.
Mm-hmm. LeBron declined.
Or LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
I understand why, but I don't know. I think that, like, if you're Cleveland, you also kind of, like, at least if you're, like, their fan base, you want to get rid of the demeanor that LeBron is the only reason why you have a title. While that is mostly true, I would like if they could win without him with their current team, but I don't think that's going to happen.
But I also feel like they're not ashamed that LeBron is the only reason that they won a title.
Yeah, but
LeBron is the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
He's the second greatest of all time, but that's an argument for another time.
That's a talk for another time, folks. No, but I just feel like the only reason why the Cavaliers would go all in and potentially trade their young guys is if they feel that they can beat Boston. And I don't feel that they feel it.
What piece would they get what piece do you think they would get from Darius Garland?
I mean, just...
Again, would have to, maybe a Kyle Kuzma. I don't know how he would fit.
I don't think Kyle Kuzma...
They're not going to trade Darius Garland for Kyle Kuzma.
I feel like
I mean, like, who else could they get? Like, LeBron, but what if that doesn't work?
Yeah, what if that doesn't work? If that crashes, I think they're keeping him.
Nobody in their right mind would have LeBron James on the table and decline it. I don't care how old LeBron is.
Obviously.
I don't care how good their team is without him.
But what if he's not on the table to begin with?
It depends.
It depends on if they're willing to trade up in the draft. Because there's no way they are going to be a lottery team at the end of this.
I don't feel that Bronny could be a lottery pick, though, right?
He could be, if the demeanor is there for a team to be like, we don't care how Bronny James turns out, we want LeBron in our team.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and LeBron has hinted at leaving. He wore a Knicks towel. He tweeted the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, but the Knicks aren't going to have a lottery pick either. Like, the Knicks and the Cavaliers are two teams that if they have LeBron, they are instant championship contenders.
Yeah, and
Okay, yeah.
which funny is because a small forward is what the Cavaliers need.
Yes, and LeBron is that small forward.
But I know I keep bringing this team up, and I gotta stop doing that. But all of these teams, the only thing that they feel that they would go all in for is if they feel that they could beat Boston.
That's all they need.
And in my humble opinion, nobody can beat Boston.
I think it comes down, if Porzingis is not healthy, then I think there are a multitude of teams that can beat Boston.
And the teams that can beat Boston, maybe what? Miami? Not Miami.
I think if you can contain Porzingis, you're gonna win.
They have Jason Tatum.
I know they have Jason Tatum, but we have seen them choke multiple times, mainly last year.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was Jalen Brown's fault, if we're being honest.
Okay, yeah.
Last year was Jalen Brown's fault.
Now they don't really have to rely on Jalen Brown.
Exactly.
But if Porzingis goes down, they do, and I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Then they got Derek White. They got Drew Holiday. They got Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett. Boston is so good. Like, I don't think you understand how good their offseason was.
Yeah, but this is really their year to win, and I don't think they're going to win this year.
Who do you think's gonna win?
The Clippers. I've said this for the last 2
No,
years.
Cole has said the Clippers are gonna win since like
since they went to the conference finals.
It's like the bubble, bro.
But
Every single year.
this actually could be their year.
This is their
In all
year.
seriousness.
Have you seen the meme of the dude with like the backpack, like, and it's about the backpack's about to fall off, and he's like, "Let it go, bruh, it's over." That's cool with the Clippers.
But this year it could actually be their year though.
He's been saying the Clippers every year since the bubble, and it's never happened. That's so.
They haven't even made it past the first round since I've started saying that too, which is crazy. But I'm doubling down on it too.
Right.
Like if they can go on, like it depends on what happens after the All-Star break. But if they can go on a win streak going into late April, like before not late April, mid-April, going into the playoffs, I think they can win the championship.
Wasn't there like a rumor that said Kawhi is hurt for like a couple weeks after this? No?
I don't know.
I think he's going to miss the All-Star game. So if he gets hurt, let's say 2 weeks, that's what? Maybe 6 games? 7 games? If they go 3-3, they're fine. And then Kawhi comes back, and I feel like I'm defending Cole here because I'm going to say this. The biggest thing about the Clippers is that they have quote-unquote playoff chokers, right? But they have Kawhi Leonard on their team.
Who's not really known for being a choker.
And he is one of the greatest playoff performers of the last decade, of the last century.
I think the only thing that could possibly like scare me is that the Western Conference, like the top 4 teams all have, actually no, the top 3 teams, including, so like it's the Nuggets who have Jokic, the Timberwolves who have Cat and Gobert, and then the Thunder
and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I'm talking about bigs.
Oh, bigs. Oh.
Like for bigs, it's Cat and Gobert, Jokic, Chet Holmgren. They are going to dominate the Clippers because the Clippers, they have really good, they are really small.
Yeah.
They do not have the center that they need or the power forward that they need. If they can get that in the offseason, they actually will be championship contenders.
Okay.
But the Clippers don't have time.
Yeah, they don't have time.
Zubac isn't bad.
Yeah, but they can improve on that position. I feel like the problem I have with Zubac is that there are a lot of bigs, especially in the Western Conference, that are better than him.
But also, they have Kawhi Leonard, they have Paul George, both all defense level defenders. And we saw in 2022, if you're talking about Jokic, we saw in 2022 when Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were injured, Jokic was guarded by Kevon Looney and Draymond Green. Draymond Green is one of the greatest defenders of all time, but it was mainly Kevon Looney. And the Warriors still won. So I feel
I feel like that's more because Kevon Looney is such an underrated defender, more than Jokic is really good.
No.
Or Jokic doesn't do well, because the thing about Looney is that the last 2 years in the first round, he locked up Jokic and Sabonis.
Yeah, but I also feel that... No, he didn't lock up Jokic. Jokic, this is my point that I'm going to make. Jokic was really good that series. He was MVP level that series, and they still lost. You know why? Because he didn't have a support.
Yeah, he didn't have help.
This is what I'm thinking. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can guard Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Everybody. They can guard them.
And also, people say that they have playoff chokers on the team, but last year, James Harden was not the reason that the 76ers lost that series. He was really good.
He scored 8 points in Game 7.
In all the other games, he was really good.
But he scored 8 points.
In all the other games.
In all the other games. But, like, actually, like, he was, like, the main reason why they won, like, 2 of their 7 games.
Yeah, but...
If they can have that level and not have him score 8 points in Game 7...
He scored 8 points in Game 7.
Then they can win. They can win.
They can win, yeah.
Okay.
And Russell Westbrook. Nobody... I feel like...
He's underrated because of his time in LA on the Lakers.
But why isn't anyone talking about how Russell Westbrook is probably one of the best guard defenders in the NBA this season. Rebounding and defending. Like, he's locking up. Nobody's talking about that.
I think it's because they don't really. Many people have kind of lost faith in Westbrook, especially after his stint with the Lakers and how he got cut by, I think it was Utah. He got traded to at the deadline, and he got cut. And now he's with the Clippers, and now he's kind of had like a rebound, but his offense production isn't where I think it can be.
But I feel like they don't need him to be offensive because they have, and I've said this 20 times, they have James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, baby. I don't think they need Russell Westbrook to go crazy.
Yeah, but I would like if they could have, like, if, say, a Kawhi or a James Harden gets injured, they can have Russ kind of, like, step into that role.
Okay.
Because,
But
he's not really ready for that.
Only time will tell if they need that to happen.
Yeah.
Only time will tell, because we don't even know if they need that to happen. So I feel like, and we can never say that the Clippers will stay healthy, but this season, not to jinx it,
They've
been really healthy this season. They've been really healthy. So, I mean, the entire NBA is so packed, and this is the 10th time I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound like glazing. I feel like Boston is the only team that is really definitively out of the pack.
Okay, yeah.
It's Boston and everyone else, but everyone else can still win. Boston is not unbeatable.
Okay, I agree with that.
And it's just the entire NBA is so packed, and these playoffs are going to be really fun. So, also, can I say a really just quick point? Shout out Jonathan Kuminga. Shout out Steph Curry. Shout out the Warriors, unfortunately. And don't shout out the Kings. Don't shout out De'Aaron Fox. Please come back to December, De'Aaron.
We need you.
Please, De'Aaron. I saw a comment yesterday, and I'm just going to ask you guys this one question before we end things off. Just this one question. It said, have the Kings taken a step back from last year?
Yes.
Or has the rest of the West gotten better?
Both.
I say both too. Because we didn't do anything over the offseason.
Didn't do anything at the trade deadline.
During trade deadline.
Hey, Robin Lopez, man. Robin Lopez, don't forget.
Are we supposed to cut him?
That doesn't.
Yeah, we cut him.
That doesn't count.
I know, that's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay. But
like,
and the rest of the West is evolving, like you said.
yeah, like OKC is better. The Clippers are better. The Nuggets are kind of the same. I think the two teams that if we have to face them in the 7-game series, so the Kings can beat, are the Nuggets and the Lakers.
You think the Kings can beat the Nuggets?
Maybe.
I don't think the Kings can.
Maybe.
No.
It depends on what kind of De'Aaron Fox we get.
They have Nikola Jokic on that team.
Yeah.
Nobody can guard Jokic on our team. Don't tell me Sabonis can guard Jokic.
Sabonis cannot guard.
Do not tell me that.
I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
But I think that the Kings can out-offense the Nuggets and win.
Have you been watching the Kings lately? Their offense.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
if we have December De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Huerter
I don't
can
think
go
that's
back
saving
to
us.
last year regular season form,
I don't think that's saving
it's
us.
possible.
Do you know the Kings are one of the worst free throw shooting leagues in the league?
Can I just ask the free throws? Can you guys just make them so it doesn't give me a heart attack? It's killing me.
Shit, I be saying the same, man. I be saying the same.
Do you know? Oh, can I have a
Didn't
question?
Malik Monk like sell a game against Milwaukee in overtime to free throws?
Can I have a question for you because you play basketball, right? So so you know the basket, right? There's the 3-point line,
Yeah.
and then there's the little paint area, and there's a line in the middle. What is that called? Where you shoot from
the free throw line.
free throw. Yeah. What's the first word of that?
Free.
Free. So are you saying that you're supposed to hit those shots? Huh. So you're telling me that when you go to the free throw line,
You're supposed to hit them.
3 points that you're supposed to hit? Is that what you're telling me, guys? Huh. Can somebody please tell the Sacramento Kings that? Because
They have not.
what is happening? Like what is happening, honestly? But
Mike Brown, you need to do your job. Make them hit their free throws, my guy.
It's not Mike Brown's fault.
I mean, like, it isn't, but he's the only person who can tell them to do that.
Yeah. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, do your job. No, but I just feel like, to respond to the original question, has the rest of the West gotten better, or have the Kings gotten worse?
It's both.
It's both. It is both.
The Kings were never that good to begin with. I'm sorry.
They weren't good enough.
The defense was always a problem, and we just ignored it because a lot of teams were bad last year, and we just felt that we weren't one of them. But the defense has always been a problem that we didn't fix, we never fixed, and we probably never will fix. That's going to prevent us from being contenders. So the rest of the West did get better, but they did not really get better. They just showed us who they really are, and we showing them what frauds that we really are. But I will still support Let the Beam please win every single day.
Monty, you need to make some moves, my guy.
And we'll see what happens throughout the playoffs. It's going to be a fun rest of the season.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.